This video is for you if you identify as a high performer, someone who really wants to maximize your potential in life and is always striving for big things, solving the next big challenge, really pushing yourself. So you might be an INTJ, an INFJ, an NTP, some other types as well. But for me in my coaching practice, INTJs are most commonly facing this kind of challenge. How can I really just maximize my life and keep facing challenge after challenge and kind of find this excitement or thrill in it, right? And so in today's video, I want to talk about a question that I explore with a lot of INTJs and other high performer types that I work with, a lot of top executives and entrepreneurs and so on. The question is, what should work really mean to me? How should I frame it for myself? And how do I know when, what does really success look like? You know, is it just status? Is it just more money? Is it just promotions? Is it just bigger? You know, how do I know that I'm actually living a good life? Or am I fooling myself and just kind of continually pushing? Am I missing out on something by always focusing on what's next? Or is this genuinely what's right for me? And maybe it's okay that I just get a thrill out of always finishing one challenge and jumping to the next one right away, right? Because I think there's a lot of conflicting messages out there in the self-help, mindfulness, lifehacking, psychology world, right? You might hear some advice is saying you have to slow down and appreciate the moment and be in stillness. And some advice is saying, no, maximize your potential, maximize every moment of being alive, do big things, make an impact, right? So what's correct for you? So I'm going to go over 5 pieces of advice or five ways of thinking about this. So the first one is thinking about what types of challenges you enjoy solving, and are you expanding your edges? I think especially for INTJs and INFJs and other people who are really oriented toward continual growth, the first question to ask is, does it feel like in your work, in whatever you're doing in your day job or your side hustle or whatever else, are you really expanding? Does it feel like you're aware of where your edges are? You've kind of got your comfort zone that you're already skilled at. And are you aware of where the edge of that is? And do you feel like you're pushing it? Are you expanding that further away from what's comfortable into kind of the unknown, into areas that have been uncomfortable, but you feel like you're becoming more skilled, becoming more comfortable in those areas? Are you aware of which parts of your life you want to be expanding in that way? And so maybe it is your day job. Maybe it is if it feels like that is nourishing you in that way, that is helping you expand in that way. And, not all of us are able to do it in our day job. Maybe you have some personal project or some family thing, or, maybe it's conquering social anxiety at parties, whatever it is. Does it feel like the type of work that you're doing, the type of schedule that you're keeping, your work-life balance, all that, is that conducive to expanding yourself in whatever way you want to be expanding? The second thing is to recognize that that might look different at different stages of life. And so one way I think of it is kind of different seasons of life. And sometimes we feel like we're in a season where it's time to really push ourselves and expand as much as we can. And sometimes it's more of a season of kind of hibernation. It's time to rest. It's time to integrate what we've been learning, how we've been growing. And this can be smaller periods, like maybe there's a week where you push hard and then a week where you take it easy. And it could be longer periods, like maybe there are a few years where you're really devoting yourself to getting promoted as quickly as you can at work. And then maybe there are a few years where you've just had a baby and you're devoting yourself to really caring for the baby, caring for yourself, and so on, right? And so one basic way of looking at this is, if you are in, say, your 20s or your early 30s, maybe it is okay for you to be pushing really hard and having a poor work-life balance and developing as many skills as you can. You can make that choice. And then maybe you realize, well, now I'm getting into my late 30s or 40s, and now it's feeling like, even though I've been used to getting a lot of satisfaction purely out of work, out of impressing people at work and blowing past expectations and, uh, whatever that looks like for you, getting success, getting rewards in that way, maybe that's starting to not feel like it's resonating with you as much. And maybe now you want to be devoted more to your social life or your community or being of service in some way or your family, whatever it is. And it's okay for that to change. And it might not be linear. It might be you kind of go toward a certain area for a while, and then you come back to the area that you were just in, or you go to another area. And so it's not just about kind of what does work or what does life have to mean to you in kind of a fixed way, but it's checking, what do I want to be focusing on now in this period of my life, knowing that might and probably will change after some period of time. So number 3 is as you are pushing yourself to overcome challenges and push yourself to expand your edges, to make time for that, you need to learn to be efficient and to say no to a lot of things and to delegate tasks that you're not the right person to be doing. And, something to watch out for is if you feel like there's nothing I can delegate, I have to do it all, only I can do it right. That might be a sign that, there are many reasons you might be too much of a perfectionist, right? And there are some times maybe where you have not taken the time to train others so that they can do a good job. So maybe it is really true that you are the only one who can do it, but maybe that's a good sign that you should be spending time teaching others or mentoring others so that it's okay for you to go on vacation sometimes and it's not all on your shoulders, right? But a more kind of nefarious thing, a more hidden thing that might be at play here is sometimes if you have focused so much of your identity on work and you feel like you have to be the one to do everything, only you can do everything properly, even the smaller tasks, that might be a sign that you don't have something else that you're passionate enough about or you're excited enough about. Because what I've found working with a lot of people is once they find a certain type of thing that they really care about, then that kind of consumes so much of their energy that they don't really have time to do all those kind of more menial things or the things that they aren't the ideal person to be doing anymore. So because the really exciting or the really fulfilling or the really powerful thing is taking up so much of their energy, is drawing them so much, then they have to hand off other things and say no to other things because there simply isn't enough time in the day. And so I invite you to really check, like, do you feel like you have to do all the things, all the parts, because you haven't found the thing that really excites you enough, or the thing that, it might be something at work, or it might be a sign that maybe you don't have enough going on in your personal life. Is it the case that you don't really have many friends that you're prioritizing, or you don't have many hobbies outside work? If you have nothing else going on in your personal life, then it makes sense that it's really easy for you to just work overtime all the time and, micromanaging everything and feeling like you have to do everything because you don't have any other priorities. But, if you just had a baby, for example, then you're going to notice that suddenly a lot of those things that seemed really important that you had to do, suddenly it feels like, oh, now those are okay to hand off because I simply don't have time to do them anymore, right? It kind of forces a reshuffling of your priorities. And so having a baby is a big example, but it could be something smaller, like you decide yoga is really important to me and I'm scheduling a yoga class at 6 p.m. And so I need to be out of work. I need to leave work by 5:30 or whatever to get to my yoga class. And so that kind of, if you don't really care about yoga, then it might be easy for you to just keep working overtime and skip it. But if you're able to find some hobby or some activity that really lights you up, then that is going to give you the motivation to adjust your priorities and hand off more things. So if you don't have that, then I invite you to search and try some things to see if you can find something that lights you up enough that it will allow you to deprioritize other things. The fourth one is to, as you're looking for the next type of big challenge that you want to solve, or what types of work projects you want to be taking on, one of the most important things you can look at is not just what will challenge me, or what is hard that I can overcome, but to ask, what kind of impact do I really want to be making? What really aligns with my values, with causes that I care about? And this could be at a big level, like, I care about solving, poverty or malnutrition or climate change or whatever else. Or it could be at a smaller level, like I care about helping team members feel more belonging or more connection, or, I care about being someone that people think they can trust, that they can approach, right? So whatever it is, are you picking the types of tasks and the types of areas to focus on that are really serving that? And furthermore, even if there is a type of goal or a type of project that seems really exciting to you, that seems like, wow, this is a big challenge that I'm drawn to work on, are you the right person to be doing it? Because it could be that there's something you care a lot about, some cause, maybe you really care about climate change, but are you really the person who's best equipped to be solving that challenge? It's okay for you to care about things and hope that other people who are better qualified or better positioned are going to stand up and take that on. And to decide that there are other things that are better matches for your particular skill set and your particular life experiences. And in particular, especially when you have all these different possible projects or business ideas or challenges that you could be taking on, check, which one is most alive for me now? Which one really do I feel bubbling up inside me? Do I feel drawn to? Because sometimes what can happen is you've had a dream or some business idea or whatever for many years, and maybe that really belongs to the version of you from 10 years ago, and that was really exciting to you back then. And so it really requires you to slow down and check, is current me still just as excited about that? Or is there some other type of challenge that I'm more excited about? Because it's all about opportunity cost, right? The time that you spend on one project means time taken away from what you could be spending on other projects. So it's important to kind of keep updating your self-image. Who am I today? What do I care about today? And is the way that I'm spending my time aligned with that? And then finally, the fifth thing is really practicing your self-awareness. So this question of, is it okay for me to be pushing myself so hard, to be going challenge after challenge after challenge? Or should I be kind of slowing down, being more present, being more mindful, not taking on so much? Am I missing out on something by not spending more time reading novels, or spending more time just going for walks or hanging out with friends? Is it okay that I don't do as much of that stuff and that I'm always focused on work and productivity? Well, the only way you can really answer that is self-awareness. Even if friends or colleagues give you their opinion, like, hey, I think you're working too hard, or do you ever slow down? Do you ever read a book, right? A non-productivity, non-time management book, right? Do you ever read something for fun? They might give you that reflection, but they don't know what it's like inside you. Only you know the flavor of what it feels like. So you have to be checking regularly. If I am the type of person who's pushing myself hard all the time, what is the flavor of that inside? Does it feel like, yay, another challenge? All right, I just finished that last one. I'm not taking a break. I'm going right into the next one. Yes, this feels great. I'm doing it. I'm overcoming. I'm reaching my potential. Yes, hard, 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 right? Is there kind of an excitement with that? Or does it feel more like harshness or tightness, like you can't stop? You if you want to be a good person, if you want to be valuable, you have to prove your value. You have to keep going. You have to prove other people wrong. You have to impress people. You have to overcome this challenge. Sure, you did another one, but that's not enough. You have to do more, 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 right? Does it feel like you're hurting yourself or judging yourself or making your own value contingent upon your success instead of just having inherent value, right? And only you can know that. It requires really regularly slowing down to check in with yourself. And, I work with a lot of high-powered executives, entrepreneurs, and I can tell you that sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. So I really have to work with them for a while and really kind of tune in to who are you really? What is your internal experience of life? Because you might have two high-powered executives that both look like they're go, go, go all the time, very productivity focused, and one of them is so oblivious to their own experience. They're just always filling their time with back-to-back meetings all day that they never even have time to think, to slow down and check, is this even what I want to be doing? They're so focused on just like always another thing, but they're not checking in. Whereas the other person is making time now and then to intentionally strategize and take a step back and look at their life. Is this the trajectory that I want to be on? Is this how I want to be spending my time? Right? And so it doesn't always have to be about feeling joy all the time, right? That's unrealistic. Every job, every type of work is going to have some unpleasant stuff. You're going to have to do your taxes sometimes or whatever, right? But it's about the ratios. What percentage of your time are you feeling positive emotions versus negative ones? That's what happiness really is. And so there are other forms of happiness and fulfillment. There are other types of feelings under that umbrella that are not just pure joy. So some examples of those I wrote down are you might feel engaged, inspired, grateful, connected, stable, proud, in control, competent, hopeful, peaceful. So as long as most of your day is spent in one of those feelings, rather than the whole set of negative feelings, beating yourself up or, not feeling satisfied, then maybe it's okay, right? Maybe it's okay to be working all the time and always focused on achievement. It really just comes down to how does it feel inside? Does it generally feel more good or more harsh? And so I invite you at least once a day to take time to slow down, even just close your eyes for a minute and just check, what is the flavor of feeling right now? How has this day felt? And ideally you can journal about it as well, but even just slowing down to check in regularly. Is this how I want to be spending my time? All right? So, yeah, these are big questions. What should work mean to me? How should I be thinking about productivity and how I spend my time and how hard I push myself, what my work-life balance is? These aren't easy answers. This takes a lot of work, a lot of self-awareness to be checking regularly and figuring this out and adjusting over time. But I think it's well worth it. So I encourage you to try out these tips. So again, the 5 of them are looking for the types of challenges that you want to be working on, trying to expand your comfort zone, expand your edges in whatever way feels most relevant to you right now. Number 2 is adjusting that based on your stage of life, whatever season you feel in right now. And it's okay to be kind of going between different approaches in different times of your life. Number 3 is to be efficient with delegating and saying no and choosing what you spend your time on and checking if it feels like you have to be doing everything yourself and you can't delegate ever, you can't say no ever. What's actually going on there? Is it perhaps that you don't have anything in your life that you really care enough about to take your time and energy such that you have to free up time and energy elsewhere? right? And that could be at work or it could be in your personal life. Number 4 is to make sure that the types of challenges you're taking on, the type of work that you're doing, is aligned with your values, the type of impact that you want to be making in the world, your purpose, your meaning, and asking, are you the right person to be doing this based on your skills and your experience? Or is this just something you care about, but someone else would be better suited to doing it? And then number 5 is building your self-awareness intentionally and regularly checking in with your feelings to see, what is the flavor of my experience? Am I beating myself up, or am I really enjoying this? All right. So I'd love to hear how all this lands with you, if you want to share in the comments. And I hope you have a wonderful, nourishing day doing whatever kind of work fulfills you.